For each of the following pairs of numerals, tell which numeral represents the greater number. So for part A, we can see that these symbols for these two numerals belong to the Roman numeration system. Now, the Roman numeral system is an additive system. Each symbol or group of symbols represents a certain value. To find the number that is represented, we're going to add the values. So the symbols are shown below. Roman numeral 1, the face value is 1. Roman numeral for 5 is the V here. Roman numeral X represents 10 as the face value. Roman numeral L is 50. Roman numeral C is 100. Roman numeral D is 500. And Roman numeral M is 1000. Now, in addition, there is a subtractive property. Therefore, we can see that you put 1 here, or the one Roman numeral 1 next to the V is a 4. Roman numeral 1 next to the X is a 9. The X in the L is going to give us 40. 50 minus 10 gives us 40. The X in the C, that means you're taking 100 subtracting 10, that gives us 90. CD, 500 minus 100 is 400. And then CM is 1000 minus 100 gives us 900. Now a bar was placed over a Roman numeral to multiply it by 1000. So if we take a look at the Roman numeral for M that has 2 bars on it, if we take 1000, that means we got to multiply it by 1000 times another 1000, which therefore gives us the following value. We can see that that M with the double bar above it is 1 billion. Okay, now if we take a look at CC, well, 1C is 100, so 2 of them is going to equal 200. Next we have 3 X's. Well, 1X is 10, so that means 3 of them is going to give us 30. And then we know the Roman numeral here represents the value of 9. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add up all these numbers to figure out what that represents. So we're going to add those numbers to find the face value. So if we take 1 billion plus 200 plus 30 plus 9, well, that gives us 1,239,000,000. Now we want to take a look at the numeral, the second numeral. Now remember here that the M is 1000, so we're going to multiply it by another 1000, and therefore we end up with 1 million. Now, if you notice here, we're going to use the previous steps to find the face value for the rest. So we have 2 C's. So again, we have 1 million. We know that those 2 C's are going to represent 200. We know that those 3 X's are going to be 30. And then that Roman numeral is going to represent 9. So we get 1,239,000. Now, if we take a look at the symbol here, the first symbol represents 1,239,000, and the second symbol represents 1,239,000. We can see that the 1,239,000 is greater than the 1,239,000. Therefore, the numeral of the first symbol is greater than the numeral of the second symbol. Okay, now we want to take a look at B. It says the numerals 8235 and 80,235 belong to the Hindu Arabic numeration system. Now, in the Hindu Arabic numeration system, the numerals are constructed from 10 digits. You have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now, the place value is based on powers of 10, so the number base of the system. Now, in the numeral 8235, 8 has a place value of 1000. 2 has a place value of 100, 3 has a place value of 10, and 5 has a place value of 1. Now, in the numeral 80,235, 8 has a place value of 10,000, 2 has a place value of 100, and 3 has a place value of 10, and 5 has a place value of 1. Thus, in the number 8,235, 8 has a place value of 1,000, but no place value of 10,000. While in 80,235, 8 has a place value of 10,000. As 80,235 has a greater face value than 8,235, the numeral 80,235 is greater than the numeral 8,235. For part C, here are the following numerals, and they belong to the Babylonian numeration system. The Babylonian system of numerals resembled a place value system with a base of 60. In a Babylonian numeral, a gap is left between the characters to distinguish between the various place values. Each placeholder was made of the symbols below. So here is the Babylonian numeral. This represents 1, that's the face value, and that represents 10. So therefore, this numeral is going to represent 10 plus 4. Therefore, that's going to represent 14. And this numeral is, you have 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10, which is 50, plus 1 gives you 51. Therefore, we would say that 51 is greater than 14, so this numeral here is greater than that numeral. Part D. The following numerals belong to the Egyptian numeration system. Now, the Egyptian numeration system was a simple grouping system. To find the value of the Egyptian numeral, the values of all the symbols in the numeral were added together. So the symbols are shown below. So for the Egyptian numeral, for the first one, this represents a face value of 1. We see that this value represents 10. This numeral represents 100. This Egyptian numeral represents 1,000. This represents 10,000, and this represents 100,000. So in the first numeral here, we know that this represents 1,000. So this represents 1,000. We know that these two represent 100, so that's plus 200, and that gives us a value of 1,200. Okay, and then we know that these represent 10. So 10 times 4 is going to give us 30. And we know that these represent 1 each, and there's 3 of them, so therefore it's 3. So 40 plus 3 is 43. So we will say that 1,200 is greater than 43. Therefore, the first numeral is greater than the second numeral. Okay, the following numerals belong to the Mayan numeration system. Now, the given Mayan numeral has 2 place values. From top to bottom, the place values corresponding to each vertical grouping are 20 and 1. Now we want to represent the Mayan numeral in each vertical grouping as a familiar Hindu Arabic numeral using the table below. So what we can see here is that the representation of 20 is the following, with the 1 symbol on the top. 40 is the next one, which has the 2. 60 has the 3, and then 80 is the following. So if you see here, this represents 0. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So what does this number represent, and what does this number represent? Well, numeral, excuse me. So the second numeral here is going to represent the number 20. So if we take a look at that, here is going to represent 20, because that's the value of 20. So we know that's going to represent 20. And then we know that 3 lines here with those 3 dots are going to represent the number 18. So therefore, we know that 20 is greater than 18. Therefore, this numeral is greater than that numeral.